Ahem. Hello. You hear the one about the Grim Range Blaster? Immediately leaves without finishing the joke. Honestly, that kind of anti-humor is probably better than the real joke was. I'm ready to learn. There we go, there we go. I can hear. I can fight. That's not exactly what the line is, but alrighty. So this is going to be cool. I think this might be the first time in all of Squid School that we're doing a VOD review for two people who play the same weapon. Oh wait, no, there might have been a day where we had two Neo Splashes. I think I remember that happening once. But we've got two blobs today. We got DomLikesPie and we got Soliart. Alright. So, it's time for us to meet a new but much beloved password guide of ours. This is Mocha. Everybody say hi to Mocha. Mocha is Chibi's adorable little furball. Very fuzzy, very good. All of the blobs are congregating on this one spot. Present and awaiting instructions. Yes, yes, we will be needing you, Devi. I am getting into the VC here. There we go. And I've got a message from Soliart. And I'm gonna send...
I'm here.
Hey, there you are. Awesome.
Welcome.
I have DM'd you the password, so don't read that out loud on stream. That's what we have our password guards here to protect.
Yes.
But we've got Devi, we've got Soliart, and I don't know if Dom is going to be joining us. Dom said that he would not be able to be in VC, but I don't know if that means he won't be able to play either. So we'll give him a minute.
All day.
We'll give him a minute to respond, just in case. But if not, then maybe we can grab Jamie or something. I think it might be for the best that we don't have two Bloblobbers in the same team comp. Well, I don't know. It's Splat Zones. Maybe that's a thing. We could probably pull that off.
What are the maps?
Wahoo and Reef. Those aren't bad blob
Definitely
maps.
work for the Reef. Wahoo. Yeah, it can work for there too.
Yeah, well, Wahoo, I figure you just put one on right glass and one on left plat, and they just crossfire everything, and it's horrible, and everybody hates us.
This is
Oh my God, there was
double backline all the time.
So in League, me and some of the other people in Discord did a quad blob on Arowana Clam. We just were able to wall everybody out from being able to score.
That's so evil. I hate it.
Oh, it's just a waterfall of blobs because there's nowhere to move. Oh.
I mean, pushing was really hard, but we had great defense.
I imagine so.
Yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to push there. Like, you just, like, what, put two people enclosed, and then the other guy is like, you can't go over a bridge with a blob. What are you supposed to do? That's funny, though. Alright. I'm not getting any word back from Dom, so hey, Jamie, if you want to hop in, feel free.
Oh, you gave me the password. I didn't realize that.
Oh, okay, yeah, Dom's out of town.
Which... Oh. Should probably switch to the gear that I actually want to use.
Transitioning headsets because one sounds different than the other, but this one's really comfy.
Are you kidding me?
No, we're not kidding you.
I have a 5-minute timeout.
Oh
Jamie!
no! What did you do?
I
Jamie
DC'd
was a
last
bad
night during
boy.
placements and I got frustrated. So I'm done.
Oops. All right. Well, we'll be a second here, but we'll get Jamie in pretty soon.
Just last rotation, my team was 3 ticks from winning, and I DC'd.
No.
And then I got
I've
cracked.
definitely been in that situation before.
I was on the winning stream and I DC'd. And it
I've
kind of a
also,
loss.
I've also recently been in a situation where, what is it, the last SOS of July, we were running on Snapper Clams in the bronze game, and it was game 4. We were going to take lead. I was just going back to get clams, and I was going to turn around and get half charge, but my controller died.
Ugh.
Oh no.
And I was just stuck there for like it was like 3-4 seconds before the knot finally jumped in and splatted me, but
That's
just
rough.
because of that, everyone else wiped, and they were able to get a push off that, and they ended up taking that game, so we have to go into game 5. But oh my god, was it devastating.
That's brutal.
Didn't that happen on stream?
Yes! Yeah! Well, not on the main stream, but on mine.
But, like, on your stream, yeah.
Or was it I streaming? Somebody was.
Yeah,
I think I
you were
recorded
streaming,
it.
I think.
Oh, yeah, one of us was. But yeah, no, it died, and I'm just here panicking because my second one's also dead. Because the main controller I use doesn't give me a battery notification. It just blinks bright red. So...
Oh no,
God.
Vaz is gonna steal Mocha. Oh no. Chibi, I'm so
Run.
sorry. Hi, Michael. How's it going?
But yeah, I did like a poll, just asking like what people thought about Splatoon, what they thought if Splatoon eventually went free to play, and the results are interesting so far. Like I'm getting like a lot of people saying that you know it would not be a good idea, but there are some that are bringing up like good ideas about it.
You could
Like
definitely
how-
do things like DL or like microtransaction gear, because like you should have access to gear that has all of the perks and stuff that you need from the base game. But then if you want like some extra aesthetic thing, then maybe you can pay more for it, like you do with Amiibo gear.
I mean, like pants. I would love to actually have.
yes, different style of pants. That, or they'll put certain abilities behind
Paywall.
It'd be
microtransactions.
interesting if they tied the pants to the shoes or something like that, like leg wear.
Yeah. The aesthetic is just so weird when you have like this really sleek looking outfit and then you're just wearing these like shorts with leggings.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Or it's just like extra accessories that don't already exist. Like you can have 2 in 1. Like we know how like there's a hat with, like the hat I wear is a cap and sunglasses. But what if you could, like interchange them? So, like you could add extra things. Like I don't know, like bracelets that
A
are
cape.
probably on shirts. Yeah.
All right,
cape.
Jamie's in.
Cape like Inner Agent 3s or all that stuff.
Let's ready up and get going. Oh no, Oreo Queen's Oreos are gone.
No.
What?
uh-oh.
Her kingdom.
Wasn't me.
Her
Now
kingdom
she's
is
just
gone.
The queen.
Go play Cookie Run to get them back.
Her
I haven't
queendom?
touched Cookie Run in a long while.
Is queendom a word that anybody has ever used? I
I
see
don't
no
know.
reason not to, but I've also never heard it
feel-
before.
I feel like
Cookie
they
Run
probably
Kingdom.
have like a fantasy story, but probably not like actually.
Yeah, interesting. Also, it was just because we have a little extra time, here's Chibi's other kitty. This is Raven.
Hey,
I can't-
every time I'm in League, this is the first game that happens.
I kept running into.
I
Luke
have a curse
last
right
night.
now.
I kept running into Luke last night. It was annoying.
I keep running into Fizz.
I've seen DNA Luke before.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a really like passive wall them out kind of comp here. The only time that I'm going to be moving in
alright,
is
you're
when
gonna go
Jamie is going to give me armor.
Whoa, that was fast.
Yep, they're going to be
Shoot.
playing
Oh,
aggressively.
no.
That comp is hold forward comp. Now, fortunately,
And-
that's not an inkjet knot. That's the baller knot. I'm going to drop down
They're-
car.
Nautilus
also
is.
hold forward players.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, on my left, on my left.
Ooh.
I got in
Oh,
from
no.
downstairs.
Yeah, there's 2 over there.
Let's come off to the left side.
Okay,
I'm gonna die. I lost the
Oh
my
last
God.
shot.
we're
Wow.
2 down, we're 2 down.
Yeah.
Just
I
charge
have armor.
specials. They're going to bomb rush in, so I'm just going to farm that for special.
Yeah. I'm just gonna try
I
to
got
stay
Booyah
safe.
ready.
I have armor.
Alright,
I hit one.
I'm going to Booyah our car.
Alright, I have bomb rush ready.
Force them to us.
Ah, shoot.
I'm
I'm
down.
gonna be taking a 1v1 with the pro.
Gonna
Anyone
jump
wanna help
out.
me with the pro? No? Okay.
Where are you?
At car!
Oh, I went the wrong way.
We took 3 different fights.
I was intending to go help you, but I went left instead of right.
Yeah.
No,
You know,
there
I
was a-
went
there was
to-
a- There was a call out at car before, so I thought it was remembered.
Well,
I didn't.
okay,
I must have been.
we put a booyah on car to like force them out of it and try
Oh, yeah,
and
no, they
fix where they scattered to.
And I was the only one that went. So.
Sorry.
Well,
I
they
was like, no one else
they,
is gonna come.
they got pushed towards downstairs, and that's where I engaged.
Oh,
Yeah, I
well,
also
they stayed
went-
up at they stayed up at car.
You know,
At least.
I went down towards the knot that was
Yeah.
by the underneath.
We don't want to
blocks.
chase the ones who get pushed away from us by it. We want to chase the ones who get pushed into us.
That was the one at car because the ones went back down into street. The one at car actually came to me. I needed one other person to help land the final shot. And then I was getting.
I
bombed
mean,
back
I
towards
think
the wall.
either play would have worked. We just needed to pick the same one.
Yeah.
You mean it doesn't work when everybody does their own thing?
So,
Not against that team.
Hello.
Oh my god.
All right, so I'm gonna roll out and try and focus on bridge, and try and get a wall up there and give us a little bit more time to get settled before they're over the top.
Okay.
I'm not going to stand as close to the ledges as I did before.
That is smart. Highly recommend that. Thanks for the subscription, Tay Watcher or Tay Witcher. Sorry, you're not watching Tay. You're bewitching them.
I've heard armor. Armor's ready.
All right,
come.
they popped
Armor.
it. So back up, back up, back up.
Book 2
All right.
on left.
I got
Back up.
flatly.
They're striking by our.
One stuck on zone.
There's one
Got
coming
him.
up from behind
Another
the
one on
flank.
zone.
Coming up from behind on the
On
bridge.
On bridge.
One jumped out.
They jumped out.
One jumped left.
Got
There you
one.
go. Flash down.
Not drop left.
Gammy.
I'm not sure if there's one flanking on our side of the bridge.
There.
Yep, there
there's
is.
one-
They got me.
there's- Oh,
There's one
God.
zone. We're 2 down. We're 2 down. Get out.
Jumping out.
Yeah, good jumps.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, how you doing?
Not well.
Watch out for the wall. Don't get
Oh
bombed off
no,
it.
I'm dead. Oh no, car.
Did the bomb off the wall thing
Ah,
just happen?
ooh.
Mm.
Yes, it did.
I accidentally dropped off.
As soon as it landed, I was there with the charge, and I'm like, well, I'm dead.
I have armor. Still.
There's
Let's
2
try
at
coming on
car.
left side.
I'm gonna booyah car again.
I'm on the left at this time. There's one right underneath of us, Jamie. They went left.
Okay. I see him a splash.
All right.
I pushed him
I
off.
pushed them back.
Ah,
But then
shoot,
one
it was
followed
not.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Ah,
You
All
know,
right, I'm gonna try and drop out left.
yeah. Yeah, they're fortunate to come out left side.
We have to go.
One on me. Got him. Ah, the booyah outpainted me.
Yeah. I was trying
we
to
did
come
better
in,
that
but-
time.
Because
No,
I
I
actually
definitely
took bridge instead of just like letting them rush us. that was I forget my role sometimes here.
Let's add a +1 friendly fire to Gem's KA.
That's true. That's true.
I've been getting better at jumping out.
That was
Debbie,
the most funkiest wall too. It was at my feet, and then the bomb went off the top of the wall, and I'm like, "Yep, I'm dead."
I saw that. I was like, "Oh no."
Yep, I exploded.
Hold on. Let's wait a second. Allow them to just queue up.
So Debbie, if we get that map again, I'm planning on going to bridge.
I'm just gonna try a different weapon. So.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
worry.
All right. No problem. Like
But
both
yeah,
last.
you are, all honesty, better to take bridge than I am off the bat, just because you have a better, like, I want to say arc, because yours bounces, and mine's more of a straight. So.
No, I was only just because both last games we instinctually both went to the same place.
Oh yeah, no, because I usually most will take the right. So I didn't communicate which way either of us were gonna go, so it was okay. What are we doing?
Please, not the same team.
Thanks for the follow, Tanky Cap.
Synapse.
I can't right now. I can't.
Is this more bad news?
Remind me to go on my alt next time. It might help.
This is worse news.
Oh no.
No, actually, well, this is just as bad news. If you want me to be honest, it's the
I didn't know
exact same.
Rihanna played.
I like Synapse though.
Was not expecting that.
Frick.
Did you get
Two down.
sniped right off the?
No, the 52 jumped off the railing and hit me on the way down. Car! Behind you, behind me!
Oh,
I only managed to get 52 with 3 shots.
when you said car, I'm like, okay, cool. But then they came down.
Car is right next to you.
I have bomb rush ready if anyone wants it.
We might need to soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get out onto, like, bridge in our street.
I broke an armor. No.
Frick.
Where? Where, Jamie?
Left side, 2 left.
Left.
Junior,
Red
1
zone.
other.
They're pushing me? Okay, I'm alone.
This Synapse person is very effective.
They are like a DivX player, so.
I'm sneaking out left.
Oh gosh, oh gosh.
And by sneaking, I mean they're already shooting at me.
Yeah.
So we've had not the greatest luck with the first 3 matches.
Yeah, we're getting literal top players, so it's whatever.
It's all
So
good.
it's like just I'm basically jumping into the ocean.
I didn't recognize the other players, but if they're playing with Synapse, they're probably not bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys, it's Rihanna. I love her music.
Which
Yeah, I
one
didn't know
was-
she played
Which one
too.
did Rihanna play?
The Charger.
Oh.
It's in here.
I'm wondering, should I switch to the V blob? I don't know.
I think they
it's
both
effective
are
on-
good for zones.
Whatever
Yeah, I mean the
I look at
wall
them and
is
I'm like,
great.
they're gonna accomplish about the same thing with
Hmm.
either kit.
I kind of wish I just had the wall and the bomb rush on one.
Neither of them have a lethal bomb, right? Isn't one of them sprinkler?
No.
Yeah,
One's
sprinkler.
and
Hmm.
This way until Splatoon 3.
It's not even spelled the same way as the Rihanna who does music, though, Smidge.
Yeah.
Yeah, they spelled Rihanna wrong. Okay.
Hey, look, different map.
This time we'll totally win it. All right.
All we have to do this time is win.
I like that
Easy.
mentality.
There's already one on the left ledge.
Oh god, fall
got
off.
one.
him.
There we go.
Yo, I got Synapse!
In court, behind you.
Oh, to the left of me, they're armored. I couldn't do a
They're
thing.
behind you. They're flanking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got Booyah already.
We're already bomb rushing the
Oh.
side.
Yeah, they were all
Flat.
over there, so I was trying to clear them out.
Oh no. I'm ready to accept
1
my
week on me.
Booyah bomb. Okay, when Gem's back, I'll armor.
I'm not even sure
go.
where how to
I'm here. We need to go. We need to go.
Just literally blob over the ledge. The more paint you take away from them, the better.
Sorry, I'm not trying to get in your way.
Oh, there's one underneath from behind still.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
gonna be
shoot.
flanking.
Ta-da!
I don't know how my chicken didn't kill him. I threw it off the wall. Maybe this wasn't close enough.
Yeah, those do have a smaller explosion radius.
Mm-hmm.
Are we the only 3 teams playing right now?
I guess so. Yo, I got a splat, guys.
Good job.
Yeah.
At least I don't feel like I'm doing significantly worse than everybody else here.
Well, I don't know. We're setting a pretty low bar. We can wait for a second if we
Okay.
want.
I'm always
Hold on,
nervous.
let me search my ult.
Let's switch back to Fizz's team.
Jamie, do you want armor, or are you gonna keep missiles?
It doesn't matter to me.
Thanks
If
for
you
the
go
follow,
armor, I
Marv
can
hates you.
actually play vanilla on both these maps.
I don't know
Okay.
who
This is
Marv
gonna be
is,
an
but let him know I
extremely
don't feel the
fast
same.
hour.
Devi MVP with 1 splat, yes.
Yes. Top frag.
Woo!
And high overkicks. I see that Gem Dab is now a part of the stream. Yes, it has been for a few streams now. Hey, new team! It's Chibi,
Chibi.
Oh.
the successful stream snipe.
Now, was it intentional? Is the question.
I'm
I don't
sure it
think
was
so.
intentional.
You think?
Okay.
I'm sure that is a thing that Chibi probably intended
Hey,
to happen.
Totally, I'm going right.
Alright. I'll go for bridge. Bad jump.
Armor's ready. Here you go.
Wonder who's
Careful,
using
Daddy.
their
There you go.
I saw that one. There's gonna be one above me, probably.
Oh, they're in
See their
a
street.
back.
Jamie, on you, Jamie.
I see him.
Jamie!
I'm here. Come on! Jesus Christ.
Where did you go?
I've been trying to work on not dying so much and getting to stupid fights.
I literally hit them 3 times.
I know.
It's not a dumb fight when it's a 2v1.
I got 2v1
Yeah, I
also.
see that.
Yeah,
I'm going on bridge and splashdowning left if the Booyah bomb doesn't take them off.
It's 1 down. Bomb rush on left. They got me off the wall.
There's one right in front of me on the left here, on lamps.
Bob is
The
on
left
me
tree.
on left tree.
Got the blob. Oh, I'm gonna
Nice.
die. There's one
We
on
have
bridge.
3 hits on
I'm
someone.
coming, Debbie.
though.
I'm coming. Back up, back up, back up, back up. I got you, I got you.
Whoa!
They're missling.
Yeah, they missed. I'm back in
Oh,
street.
I'm down to bomb, my bad.
Watch bridge slowly. Blob.
They're gonna be able to get zoned.
Yep. Yep.
Don't overcommit.
Cover.
Oh, they're
Must have dropped off.
I got one.
that
There's
didn't
another
do
one in
anything.
our court. We're getting ambushed from the bridge. Oh
Here,
god.
have armor.
Bridge is down.
I already died to bombs. Jamie, can you keep yourself safe over there? I want to jump in on that side.
Yeah, they don't know.
Blob weak on me.
They do. Well, one's over there. So
I'm being pushed though.
I got one of their zones back. Ryan's about to go back again.
Blob, you're in my
Got one.
sights.
I died of
I
missiles
got
here.
Blob.
Got two.
Just one. Get
Just
the
one,
zone.
get
Oh,
zone,
last
nice.
one's by me.
All
Come on,
right.
Bridge.
No.
In their court.
Oh,
Going
my
right side. Jamie above you.
Get
on
together
the
with
right.
Sully. Get together with Sully.
They're literally hiding behind the column going bridge now.
Oh. Well. There's two at top right about to drop on us, Sully.
Oh my god, how did every shot miss? All
I
right.
have armor now.
Another one on me?
Go pop it.
Got
You
him.
guys can take it if you want.
Whoops, I booyah'd by accident. Sorry.
I got the bomb rusher.
Oh no, you booyah'd. Bomb.
They armored. There's two on the left side by their car.
Yeah, well, alley.
Alley here, yeah. I don't like being here. Why am I here?
I don't know.
I'm
Oh,
bomb
this
rushing their
Sully's got-
fort.
I'm being
Yeah.
pressured back.
I got one.
Two in their street, got one. One
Face
forced
the
out to
zone.
left tree,
Yeah.
got him.
Okay,
That's
wife,
three down.
good job.
Up we go.
Okay, I'm taking position left side.
I'm on their car.
I have armor. Let me know. Let's go pop it.
There we go.
I am the car. I
Room.
rev.
Hello. Hi, Chibi. Wait, how can Chibi get in here?
She
Gem.
has the same perms as we do.
Oh.
Yeah,
This
Chibi. Actually, Chibi has a uniquely powerful role because Chibi is the thumbnail creator.
Oh.
That was totally internet, totally. Yeah, but GG's for y'all.
GG's.
That wasn't actually an intentional stream snipe, believe it or not. If it was, I would not be playing this weapon that I can't use.
So,
I'm about to say, like, I saw you guys in Cephalosouls.
Yeah. Anyways, GG's friendo.
GG's.
I mean, internet bad.
Grr.
Hopefully we can rematch.
I love all of these different varieties of the word Bloblobber that we're getting in chat now.
right?
The Bloblobber.
The blobber.
Quick English lesson, everybody. It is a blob lobber. It lobs, as in throws, blobs. Blob lobber.
I just thought it
I
was.
mean,
I thought it was
Alternatively,
like a bathtub.
blah blah blah. Okay, so think like someone's just yapping at you, blah blah, and then you all of a sudden you get cold. Brr.
ooh, boobler.
That's also a way to pronounce it, Jamie.
There's apparently a competitive team called Bloblobber Bathymetry.
Yes,
Yes.
it was actually at LTC.
Yeah, I think that was a
I got
pickup
one.
from LTC.
LTF.
Right.
But,
Bomb rush
Up
the
at
zones.
LTC.
Glowstick was on that team.
3 on
I
left. 2 on left now.
I think they had 2 blob mains on that team. That's why they called it that. There's one above my head if someone wants to come right.
I'm coming.
On my way?
I got him.
I'm in a 1v1.
All right.
I'm down.
3v1.
I see them.
They came left. CDS.
Both of them did.
CDS left
LT
zone.
looking at
Try
me.
and hold zone.
Yeah.
This might be bad,
Oh,
Joe.
that's an ink jet.
I completely didn't pay attention to who we're fighting.
An
Don't worry
ink
about
jet.
it.
Oh,
And someone's
There's
on
one
the
on left.
underneath the column. There's
We're
2
two down.
left.
I'm backing out.
I got death. I couldn't get out in time.
I'm gonna do jump.
There's one on bridge. I'm watching. They've got armor.
You
Coming
jumped.
for
crush.
fight.
2 on bridge. I broken armor on 1. Zap's weak. Oh, I got
Nice.
him. Look at that.
Good pick. Good pick. One weak on me. Got him.
There you
Nice.
go. Oh, I mean.
Another one on left.
Flank.
Weak. Got
Oh
him.
my god.
You're weak, Sully. I got him. I
Okay,
didn't
cool.
save you though.
Thank you.
I'm so
Stop
sorry.
away. Stop away.
One in street. One in
Right.
street. Got him.
I got the
Oh, that's,
assist at
that
least.
is.
Stop right. That's what I said. Hi.
There's one.
That's
The
good.
junior's weak. Junior's weak. I'm being attacked from front. I can't
What are you
gauge
doing,
that.
dude?
Oh, I hit him
Junior's
twice, but it was fall
street.
off.
I was so confused at where to look.
Oh, God.
That I didn't even look in front of me. One's our street, by the way, flanking right
Yeah, I
side,
just
coming
got
from
pincered.
behind.
Yeah, it's Junior.
I needed that charged faster.
Oh, Jamie, you're still being chased. Let me help you. No, missiles, 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 missiles.
I've been
We're two
playing
down,
too
back
many
up,
other
back up, back
stuff. My mechanics are weird.
I am gonna die. I am gonna die. Yep.
Okay, we're a little bit staggered here, so be careful.
Yeah.
Jem,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
coming
not
over to you.
Yep.
I've
gotcha.
had more advantages on the right-hand side than I have directly in front.
They popped armor.
Yeah.
One coming lamp. Hit him.
There
I
are
have
3
armor.
on the right.
Help it. Nice. That's one down. Street.
I got
Nice.
2.
Nice.
Good job. Good job. Go in. Go in. Get zone.
How to
Got
get
one.
Just
Oh,
Junior,
hi,
just Junior on
thank you.
right, on right. Nice. 2 in their street. They're isolated.
CS.
CDS in tree.
Got him.
Nice. Good job, Jamie.
Or I don't know who. I got some.
I am being
I'm-
followed on the right.
Coming.
We're
Oh,
not-
shoot. Hi, sir.
Yeah, we were not there.
Yeah, I know. One was sneaking out the right, and I'm just like, oh, okay, they are now here. And I'm like, I cannot.
I'm not afraid of you.
CDS in the corner. I'm down.
Oh, no.
Nice.
Got him.
Try to keep zone.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
There we go.
Show
Nice.
yourself. There's
They
two
have,
of them
Ink
hiding.
Chat, be
The bomb
careful.
rush their fort to slow him down.
I tapped him once.
That's the
He's stuck
inkjet.
behind the nice.
Got him. I'm gonna go down here, though.
There's 2 on
One's trying to
here.
come up
One's on
our
gate.
fort.
Right in front of you,
Oh god, that is a great wall.
yeah. Of China?
Of the
Oh my god.
Traded.
verse.
One more.
Oh.
Nice. Good stuff. Just
Okay,
Junior on
one's
left.
in zone.
Good zone. They backed up. They're on bridge
Yeah.
now. Sneaking right. Watch right
Yep,
tree.
they fell down
His
right.
name is Junior.
I feel like someone's
They
gonna
popped
come in.
armor.
Ah, that's a dualies.
Junior down. Another one.
Ah,
With me,
Left
Gem.
zone is dualies.
Careful,
Oh my god.
I'm
There we go.
No, you will not kill me, good sir. In fact, I will kill you. Where'd you go? There you go.
They're on
No.
zone. Got him. Another one. Beautiful.
Yay.
Oh, I got 2 with me on bridge. Oh, I got 2v1.
Where are they
Oh,
dropping?
They fell
Okay.
down. They fell down.
oh no.
We're 3
Ah.
down.
Yeah.
My
They're
bomb
all
is
on gem.
just slightly off. Can we try coming up to the left?
I'm already on the right because
There's one
here.
in our street left side.
There's one directly underneath where I'm standing.
I'm
on
pinching the
right.
one in the street. Watch. Oh shoot. They might be able
There's,
to push me there
there's
too.
literally one. Okay, there we go. Come here. They traded with me. Bridge and right zone. So yeah, left.
They're
zone
jetting
now
on
is
left zone?
better.
Careful, CVS is right by you.
Oh, whoa, that was weird.
Three on our zone. Got 2.
Oh, one
I'm
behind.
down.
I traded. Woo! The right
Oh,
zone.
nice.
One.
2v2.
We've got more paint. We just gotta paint the zone. with
Get
both
to
Yeah,
each other.
okay.
Aw. Just stall it as much as you can.
I'm almost there,
slowly.
Sully.
I was just about.
Nice,
There we go.
nice.
Yeah, blob with the stall.
I was in the back corner at the very end there.
It's really weird how some games I feel like my shots are just so on point, and then other games I feel like I just like
They're really
paint the
off.
silhouette around the people.
After the blob law was passed, I created the Bloblobber to lob lawful blob bombs. Read all about it on my Bloblobber blob law blog.
Oh my god,
Wahaha.
you should be ashamed of yourself.
If you had the
But
tongue
also I
twister
liked it.
thing, I would have had you repeat that multiple times. La ha ha.
I'm just proud of myself for getting it right the first time.
Have people tried to do that with other weapons names?
I mean, at one point, I named myself Blob, blah, blah.
Someone already does that.
Yeah, but like, this was like when I was still S plus.
Oh,
So,
well,
like-
there's literally a person that exists in League all the time called blah blah blah, and I'd run into them half the time.
So we've got Uwu here, and then we've got British Uwu.
British,
Bottle of water.
British, uwu.
What's the best weapon for Rainmaker? That's...
It's the Rainmaker.
I love that.
So, the problem with that question is that it is suboptimal for every player to be using the same weapon. So, you don't want all of the same weapon, you want 4 weapons. So at
Oh my
least
God.
there's like 4 weapons that are the answer to that question.
One shot below me on the right. They jumped out.
Oh,
They-
oh no.
The Sploosh 7
gotcha.
is a very strong one for it. There are a lot of very, very high-level players that get a lot of benefit out of it.
Watch out for Guga.
Whoa, that was
Yeah,
weird.
they just kind of dove in on you. Two
I
shots
could be
with
in.
the
Oh my gosh, I'm being so bombarded.
Alright.
Yeah.
We're staggered a little bit. Stop engaging and try and paint up for special.
Yeah, I have armor.
Okay, there's
I
a
have
roller underneath the
special.
ledge there, so don't drop over solely.
Yeah, the roller's weak.
I have
Got him.
Booyah
got one,
already.
got
Okay,
one.
go for zone, because they're in our base. There's only one person on zone here. They can't stop
Watch
us.
out from behind. It's a Luna. Okay, Luna, you're mine.
I'm solo missiled.
There's a roller behind me, by the way. They got me one shot.
Oh no.
I have armor again.
Alright, we need to hold forward with it.
Oh, the chicken rush. I can't move.
Got one.
Well, I tried the bomb rush zone.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the carbon was sharking behind our pillow when you guys were pushing.
Yeah.
I got it was a carbon deco, right? I got the chicken bomb rusher.
Oh, well, someone was sharking behind our pillow still, and
And I got
they got Soli too.
Yeah. I had a lot of trouble getting in that match.
Alrighty.
I'm not mad
I
about
got to
that power.
splash down a ledge camping Luna. I'll take that as a dub.
I like how we won 3 out of 7 games and still got over
I mean,
2,000.
It speaks to the
people
teams
that
we were playing.
fought weren't exactly easy.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because remember, the system is based on what teams you play. It's going to be relative. It's not like 3 out of 7 just automatically equals 1,600. It could be 2,300. It could be 1,200.
True.
Just
True.
depends on who you were playing. So, anyway, it is time for us to get started with the VOD reviews. So I think I'm going to get started
Cool.
with Soliart, since Soli is already here. And Jamie and Devi, you guys are free to stick around if you want. It's especially helpful if you guys are keeping track of chat in case there are any questions. You have full permission to interrupt me for any reason. And we can make sure that we don't miss anything. Okay, I'm scrolling up just to check to see if there were any there was anything
Finally,
productive in
over.
chat, but instead we were just going blah 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 or blah or blah blah or blah blah.
Sounds
finally
productive.
get over my Canadian blockade.
I
Alright.
get blockade.
Blobcade.
Ah, yes, my Canadian blockade.
Jim, are you going to be streaming in the Discord too?
Yes, I'm getting that set up right this second.
Okay, I just wasn't sure.
Here's this and this and this, and now you should be able to see. All right. So we're gonna look at this. Ooh, this is further ahead than I thought.
I just want to be up here.
We're gonna look at this Rainmaker match. You've actually got an enemy Bloblobber that you're up against here. So looking at our comp, it's a little bit wonky, as solo comps are want to be, because you're a relatively fast-paced weapon in Rainmaker, believe it or not. Your weapon is designed to pop the Rainmaker really, really, really well. And so what you can do is kind of just always be where the Rainmaker is and always be putting down pressure to potentially pop the shield on people, and either make them back up or like let your team get space or stall. You've got a lot of options to make that happen. And this is a particularly good map for that, because one of the major choke points that you need to be controlling is especially powerful for the Bloblobber, like one of the most powerful corridors that the Bloblobber can control in the whole game. So
Right.
this is a particularly nice map for that, and we can talk about that a little bit. I think one thing that I actually want to do here is I'm going to pop this out for a second, and I want to go to sendu.inc/plans, and we're going to talk a little bit... Huh?
Oh, sorry. No, I find defense really awkward with the Bloblobber on that stage. Just I feel like I can't get into position fast enough.
That is something that we will talk about, because it's not so much a matter of can you, it's more a matter of you're not recognizing when you can quickly. Because there are definitely some positions here where I'm watching a number of blobs get thrown where I'm like, they could have probably moved like 3 shots ago. So that's something that we'll be discussing a little bit here. But I want to just talk about the map a little bit, because this is a sort of analysis that my own coach was just talking to us about yesterday, and so it's a little fresh on my mind, but also I think it's going to be uniquely helpful for talking about the Bloblobber. And since we've got 2 of those today, well, what better time than now? So the Bloblobber is really, really powerful in narrow corridors with walls, because the weapon is actually better in CQC when you can bounce things off the walls. So let's say you've got an opponent that's like pushing in this direction. If you want to hit them, most weapons have to like hit them straight on. But you, as the Bloblobber player, actually get multiple opportunities to hit them if you take bank shots. Because if they have to walk through all of this to push forward, they are either forced to back up, or there are like 3 different opportunities where they might get hit by these blobs. So it offsets the main weakness of your weapon, which is that it has a really slow projectile speed. Your weapon is literally dodgeable on reaction, which is really, really weak. But so like what the blob will usually do, you know, take an open area like out in mid here, is it'll put out like a bunch of these lines of blobs and go back and forth a little bit, and it paints a lot. And so over time, slowly, it paints enough of this that your opponents can't move back and forth the way they need to avoid getting hit, and that's when they get hit. And that's when they're forced to either back up or just get splatted. And so it's a very slow play style. It's very ink hungry because you have to throw out so many of these lines before you're actually hitting anything. It's a slow-paced weapon under most circumstances. But in this case, you throw out like 1 or 2 of these blobs, and they are just going to have to either run backwards or get really lucky. So these areas right here, even if you're not going for bank shots, even if you're just standing right here, you only have this much area to control. This is like 2 lines of blobs, and you've got this entire cone in front of you completely under control. So these narrow corridors are where you are going to be able to use your superpowers. So this area is really good for you. This area is really good for you. On rollout, you typically want to roll out here so that you can contest mid, but then if you need to back up, you're backing up into these 2 areas, which are really, really powerful for you, again, because you have all these walls to bounce things off of. High ground, unlike for most weapons, is actually probably a little bit less advantageous for you. Like if you're perched up here, for example, you know, a Splatling could hit out in this direction and kind of control this space. But again, like, your weapon is reactable. If anybody sees this coming, even if they don't see it coming and a blob lands by them, they're going to be like, oh, shoot, I need to back up. And they're just going to be able to back up. They're not going to get lasered right away from that position. Whereas if you're down at a level where you're actually going to be able to paint a pretty good cone of the map, now you can kind of control this whole ground area. You still have to worry a little bit about these grates up here. This is kind of your kryptonite on this map, because your blobs are going to fall down through the grates. And so it's less useful for you to be up in a position like this, because your weapon is uniquely weak against being pushed across the grates in this direction. So that's something that you have to play around. That is one of your weaknesses here. But setting up like right here, you get to paint all of this. Setting up right here, you get to paint all of this and kind of hold that off. There are definitely a lot of benefits to having the weapon in a location like that. So something that you want to be thinking about also is what are your teammates going to try and control? Because if you end up, say, on a triple backline comp, and everybody is trying to control this spot right here and then walk forward and take the enemy's bunker, well, then the ground area below it is not getting controlled. And the same kind of thing will happen in your case. If like everybody is in this spot all painting this area, maybe then you actually do want to take a different location. Like maybe you take here and paint this up or something like that. Like you're being less effective if everybody else is already painting the same thing you're painting. So while you want to be close enough to your teammates that they can help you out in a fight, and you don't want to be so far forward that you're getting jumped by the enemy team, you definitely want to be finding new places to paint and finding safe positions to paint them from. When you're on offense, your basic idea is, okay, I'm going to put like a few blobs in this direction, and then I'm going to push up to maybe like, I'm going to change colors so you can see it, and then I'm going to push up to maybe like right here. And that way, I'm not going to get sharked by someone who's at the edge of this ink, and I'm still going to be able to continue painting this next line right here, and that's kind of how you're going to be taking up space. And your goal is to always be in range of the Rainmaker shield, so that as soon as somebody goes down... I might give you a little bit of homework here. There's a team called Up the Ante. Up the Ante is a mid-level team at about the same level as my competitive team, Watercolor. And they run a comp that's all about popping the Rainmaker. They run a Bloblobber, they run a Double Bomb Junior, and they have a couple of other weapons that are really fast at popping. I think there's a Sploosh 7 in there as well. And what'll happen is you'll pick their Rainmaker carrier and be in a 4v3. But they'll have so much paint and popping potential that they will pop the Rainmaker shield anyway and be able to grab it and push forward again. And in the meantime, one of their teammates has jumped into the fight, and so now they're still in a 3v4, and then they can just pop it again. And they kind of keep doing that and using the Rainmaker shield as a weapon. That's something that you can do if your team has enough popping potential and they're willing to work with you on the blob. And especially in solo queue, especially in ranks like S rank, people are still going to be like hyper focused on getting the Rainmaker pop regardless of the game state. So you might be able to kind of set up one of those kinds of plays by just starting to paint the shield and making your teammates think, oh, hey, look, it's almost popped. Let's help them pop it. So those are some ideas that I've got in my head about the Bloblobber. And now we're going to go over to the match itself and see how it ends up getting played out.
Could I ask one quick question?
Yeah, go for it.
So when I was watching this Bloblobber main, some Japanese player, I can't remember the name, earlier today, he was being extremely aggressive with it. And I was just wondering, is that, like, do you have an opinion on, like, is that not the greatest tactic, or...
At close range, the Bloblobber is actually pretty dangerous because it's very difficult to move out of the way in time to avoid all of the damage. But once it gets past even the very shortest range, now it's probably in danger. Like if you're trying to take a fight at splattershot range with something, you're probably losing that fight unless you've already been able to like paint their feet. You've got some setup, you've got teammates helping you or something.
Yeah.
Because your weapon is a little bit on the slower side, and the projectile speed is just really, really slow.
I mean, dodging is really hard with it.
Like, the projectile speed, you know, by contrast, is the thing that makes the Nautilus such a powerful weapon. That weapon has an extremely fast kill time because each shot that comes out of it is hitting you in, like, a couple frames. It's not very dodgeable at all. You can make yourself... a harder target and make them aim poorly, but you're not going to like move and during the time that the shot comes out be out of line of sight of that shot. The Blob is completely different, and so there are definitely times you can make aggressive plays, and there are some crazy things you can do with bank shots. You can kind of set up little traps where they're forced into a line of blobs. You can also use it in chip damage comps. So let's say you've got a Rapid Blaster on your team or something. Now you only need like 2 blobs to hit in order to get a splat. So you can kind of work with your teammates and be pretty aggressive in that way. But in terms of like actually pushing the front lines forward, your weapon does that very slowly. And so if by aggressive we mean that you're playing the role of pushing your team forward on the objective line, like I talk about in my map mode guides, that's not really the Bloblobber's job. The Bloblobber's job is more to lock in the space that the frontliners have earned for you and to get a lot of paint and create a lot of pressure by putting blobs forward into the fights that the frontliners are starting and using your specials to force people even further back than they already were by your blobs.
Yeah.
Like, you are still there to push people back, to push the enemy team back in a way. It's not like you're an anchor where you're going to stay in one place. You do need to move up. You do need to apply zone pressure to your opponents. But you're going to need a partner up ahead of you, making that more possible for you. If you're the furthest forward, you're liable to just get rushed down by, you know, these Dapple Doolies or this T-Tech, or you're liable to get lasered by the ballpoint because you're the first person who wandered into their line of sight. So you got to be a little bit careful about how you move forward.
Yeah, definitely.
So I generally like this positioning to start with. One thing about this wall, your teammates, being shorter ranged weapons than you, need to be in front of this wall in order to hit the Rainmaker shield. If this T-Tech is pushing up to the Rainmaker shield, they could bomb them off this wall. If you're going to put a wall out in a situation like this, always put it out so that it is in front of the foremost teammate, because otherwise you're effectively making it dangerous for them to try to pop with you.
Okay.
So you had, I think, the brush here just kind of sharking behind the wall because they were like, ooh, I don't think I can go out there. And now they move forward. So your brush. One thing that I'm not a huge fan of with this particular position is that you can't see very much. If you rotate your camera a little bit more so you can see around the corner, maybe you can see what the brush here sees and go and actually like help with this fight. Like, what you could do with this frontline push here is move out to the side a little bit. I mean, maybe the blob is going to be able to throw some shots at you, but you can dodge around those a little bit. And if you put out a couple of lines of blobs for this player, that might give them paint to work with. That might prevent their enemy from moving. It's really hard to say exactly what kind of impact you could have had with that because we don't see any of it. But collecting more information by having your camera in a certain position and not having a wall take up half of your screen, that will give you more information so that you can know whether it's safe to make a more aggressive play than sitting behind the corner here. And again, we still don't know what's on the left-hand side, even though we've actually now got teammates over there. We could be painting up the left-hand side to get the rest of the way to this special and then be using that to pop rain over the top. Right now, there's not much that's going to just like laser you down and delete you if you expose yourself a little bit more. 2 players are down for one thing. One of them is a Bloblobber, so you're going to be able to dodge that stuff. And your teammates are so much further forward in mid than you right now that if if someone is like sharking here, well, they're going to go after your teammates before they're going to go after you. Like, your teammates are so much further forward and being more threatening to their zone of control. So there are some cues here that you're missing that you're able to move up. And because you're not taking advantage of those, you're ending up well behind the play. These 2 fights both happen basically without you having any impact on them. So now we do push up, and I like that we're kind of pressuring that area there. We come over the top, and this is a bit of a risky position right now because the thing about cover is that I'll go back to the map planner here. So, like, you as a Bloblobber player, you have a pretty long range. And so your zone that you can control in front of you, it looks kind of like this from here.
Yeah.
So if I'm a frontline weapon like a T-Tech or something, I don't ever want to drop down here and come after you because I end up in your zone before you are in my zone. And I have to push really far forward into your shots before you're actually in my zone. So that just gives you a really big advantage if I'm trying to push you. But the thing about
would have been oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just about to explain. So the thing about cover is that if they have cover, so like maybe they're hiding around this wall, let's say. Now, the fact that you have extra range doesn't matter because you're blocked from hitting anything in what I've just colored in. So what I'm saying to be aware of as you go over the top here is that coming over the top, your weapon is not going to have an advantage over basically anything in the game when you pop up. So that's not to say don't do it. That's not to say don't like help the Rainmaker and paint for them. But I would definitely be careful before I try to hop over the wall. Maybe like sit on the wall for a second and get your bearings. What ends up happening here is I think you expect that you're going to be able to get over the top, and then you get pushed backwards instead. You probably release from the wall actually a little bit early either way. But it is always going to be a danger going that way, and so what you might have been able to do instead, because let's look at where our teammates go here. We've got two teammates here. One of them grabs and starts moving right, but one of them is going this way, and one of them is behind you to the left, I believe. What you could do is move left and ping this way, because you have better control over the left-hand side. What you could also do is take a position bunker and try to maybe slosh up over the top, maybe get yourself a safe position to drop down into street. Your goal is to get into street as safely as possible, the enemy street. Street being this area right here. Because again, this is your happy place. So if you come around this way and you're able to hit, these kinds of bank shots, if you're able to get control of all that, that's a more powerful position for you. And maybe if you move in here, you distract the enemy team and get them to look this way while the Rainmaker comes over the side. Or maybe you're able to let a frontliner come and help the Rainmaker over the right-hand side, and you're still supporting them on that side. That's an option. I don't necessarily disagree with helping them paint over here. It's just we've got to recognize that there's some danger on the way over the top. I don't necessarily blame you for not expecting there to just be a random inkjet that splats you. And in fact, the Rainmaker does make it over and is able to make a little bit of progress. Yeah. From here, I'm not 100% sure that you actually need to jump out again like you do. It's definitely not a great position to be in, but there's about equal numbers advantage from what we can tell here. So they're 2 down when we pick up. One of them goes down again. So yeah, they've got a couple of specials. One of them gets popped here. Their blob goes down, and so they lose that special. Their dualies go down. It's just the inkjet and the ballpoint. And the inkjet actually gets picked, so it's literally just the ballpoint. You outpaint a ballpoint. You could, in theory, solo pop the Rainmaker off of this jump if you're fast.
I think it was just that I found myself surrounded by green. And I was just like, oh, I don't have like anywhere I can move.
I would definitely, if I were to try and make that kind of crazy aggressive play, because this is definitely very risky, but I would maybe like fire a shot here so that it goes wall, and paints like this whole kind of rectangle around me.
That's a good point.
And then maybe if you're realizing, okay, more people are starting to pile in on the Rainmaker, then you can like sneak into the corner and jump out or something like that. There are only so many angles that they can hit you from, and they have to be like right in front of you to do it. So that's a thought, but I definitely agree with being very uncomfortable with this jump as soon as it happens, and it's not the worst idea to just jump out and abandon ship. From here, I might consider jumping to a teammate. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you could have jumped to a teammate and done the same amount of travel in 3 seconds that it took you to do in 2, but or in 5.
I see.
But that's not a huge mistake or anything like that, because you're still here with your teammates. You're ready to back them up. Again, though, it seems like maybe you're worried about someone being up there or someone being over here. I don't know. But like this position is really, really passive. It doesn't give you line of sight on basically anything. Like your teammates are already contesting mid, but you've got walls in between you and mid on all sides. So maybe getting back up in the position that you were at before would help. This isn't a bad idea because this cuts off one line that they're going to want to take to get to where you're at. From here, knowing that they're backed up and they're not going to want to go here, it might be good to push up onto bunker and be sloshing down from there at this point, especially since the ballpoint has now gone down. That's the primary threat to you on the top there. And so now you can just use this height advantage, and the shorter ranged weapons are going to have a hard time shooting up at you, especially if you see them coming ahead of time. So you can take a more advanced position at this point. I recognize that you see that there's a flank, and that's good awareness. But the Rainmaker is so far ahead of this player or so far behind this player, that they're actually just out of play. You could push forward and lob a bunch of blobs at the other team, and this player would take another probably 4 or 5 seconds to even get to you. And so for the time being, you have a 4v2 where one of them is the Rainmaker carrier, because this player is putting themselves in a position that isn't relevant yet. So a bunch of these blobs that you're lobbing, they're maybe not painting an awful lot because you're back in your own base, and so you're not going to be painting over a lot of enemy turf. And they're not really keeping you that much safer. If the dualies is on the wall here, you're still in a lot of trouble. So you still want to be pushing forward to get away from them a little bit. And I like that you're checking the map and stuff, but your team has access to the Rainmaker, and if you just swim it forward from here, the dualies don't matter.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I was so
paranoid that. Sorry, no. I mean, at the time, I was just paranoid about a future push of theirs already having ink available. But I mean, I should be focusing on what's going on at the moment, though.
Yeah, a push of theirs will not happen if they are down in numbers. If your team has control over the objective, the place that really matters the most. So yes, once you're maybe spawning back in after a fight or something, getting rid of that paint can be helpful, and it can also be a good source of special if you're trying to get that quickly. But the play right now is happening around the Rainmaker on the enemy bunker, and because you're worried about that, you're taking a situation that could have been an effective 4v2 for your team and making it into a 3v3 basically, as one of them spawns back in, because their dualies is being allowed to matter because it's taking you out of play. Worry about them when they get to a position that does matter. And in fact, the dualies ends up going down at some point due to someone else. So whatever it was that was going back there, it ended up getting handled anyway. And so we could have been spending time having an impact further forward on the map.
Yeah.
Also, being up here is just going to be a lot slower, and it's also not giving you a lot to paint. So I would have just dropped down and swam up the ramp at this point. Because if you need to get back there, if maybe they're pushing and they're already on bunker, and they're threatening elbow, or if they're trying to push into street, you can always jump from elbow back to grate. But because we went out on the slower side, we're getting there a little bit later. So again, for the purpose of learning to push forward faster, for the purposes of I should have full screened this a while ago. For the purposes of learning how to have more of an impact by being more a part of the play, you want to be using optimized movement to get out there. And swimming is always the fastest thing that you can do in this game. Oop. I guess unless you get bomb launched and then bumped off of a splash wall, those can make it go zoom a little bit. But just get armor and run yourself into a bomb. Easy. So this is a precarious position we're getting ourselves into. And again, the major problem is that we're putting ourselves behind a wall. If you want to be controlling the right-hand side, this is a great place to be, because the Rainmaker shots can't find you from way over here, and you have access to all the bank shots. But if you're trying to hit something up over the top, do not surrender this high ground. Try and stay up here so that you can get it over the ledge. And this first shot that you fire when you get over the top, this one right here that you're firing off right here, this will absolutely hit, cut, and stop the Rainmaker. We can see that it does land there. So you can keep taking those shots without dropping down, and you'll still be hitting things. But because we drop down instead, we don't have access to this angle. Valid point is that there is someone on bunker, and they would have threatened you as soon as they saw that happening. So maybe that's what you were worried about. But the Rainmaker can't threaten you especially well from this position either, so you could also just deal with them first, and then when the Rainmaker starts to come over after you've dealt with them, you'd be like, haha, I am a Bloblobber, and I have access to this lane, therefore you cannot advance. These blobs right here, these blobs right here are really dangerous. So like these shots, fine, whatever. But as soon as you fire this, this isn't giving you extra paint to swim through really right now. And what this is doing is it's putting shots around the corner before you yourself get around the corner. So somebody could potentially be watching this for you to arrive. Ooh.
No, hold on. Yes, your raid stuff does not work. This is a raid notification. Look at Twitch chat.
Oh my goodness. Falco Flyer raid. Pew pew. Personally, I prefer the air. Welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. Huge raid. Woo! Yes, we will accept classroom disruptions on occasion. Just don't do it again. No, just kidding. Thanks for being here, everybody. Really appreciate you guys.
Gave us permission. Now don't go back on the word.
No. It wasn't you that caused the disruption. Think of it like, imagine you're teaching.
I'm on the same page now. I get it.
Imagine you're teaching a class, right? And an entire other class of students, like led by the teacher, just like storms into the room and goes, "Hey!" and they start dancing, and they're doing a flash mob in the middle of your lesson, and then they run away.
I love how your mic cut out and it peaked out at a certain point when you were doing that.
Beautiful. Okay.
Fun fact: someone actually did that at my high school.
Okay, so
I
have turned the mic down significantly, so that hopefully it will stop peaking. Personally prefers the air, has much stronger ground game. What a Chad. Falco in Melee did prefer the air, as in the short hop laser. But anyway. Nintendo German teased new Splatoon 3 modes. It translates to new modes and more. Hype? That's good to know. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Really appreciate you guys. And I had the alerts thing turned off, so it's not showing up on screen. But thank you everybody. We're gonna short hop laser OP. There we go. All right. So what ends up happening? Go ahead.
Oh, I just want to. Can I tell you what my thought process was with this?
Sure.
I was thinking if I could get behind them and throw the rain in the direction that they're going, they would have to move forward in the rain. But then I tried to throw the rain and it didn't work.
So one of the things about that is that for that to work, you need teammates in front of the Rainmaker that are stopping it. And you're really one of the best weapons on your team for doing that. Your Zap has bombs, your Slosher has bombs. Your Brush really kind of needs to hard commit to every engagement. It can't just, like, sit there in street and stop the enemy team. Like, if it's going to do anything, it's going to do it by jumping and trying to eat their faces. So you on your team are probably better suited staying between the Rainmaker and the goal at all times so that you can keep the blobs in between them and the goal. Because what could potentially happen, and what I have seen happen in attempts to make plays like this, is all of a sudden, because your team is now basically a member down because you're out of the fight for a few seconds, they end up losing the fight. And the enemy team is able to push forward and just outrace your rain. They're able to, like, get far enough ahead of it that it's not going to stop them. And then, like, you have absolutely nothing you can do to stop it. Your best bet in that situation is to jump back to spawn and hope somebody else gets there first.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that, again, because those shots were fired, somebody knew where you were. Right... We see it right there. Somebody drops down to the left, and I have no idea how they don't end up, like, splatting you. I guess you don't give them the opportunity to. Oh, cool, and now it's buffering.
So, is there something with the Rainmaker? Sometimes, not the Rainmaker, the Inkstorm. sometimes when I try to throw it, it doesn't throw. Like, am I trying to throw it too quickly?
There is a little bit of time with the animation. Like, you can't just buffer the input to here. Let me pop Splatoon open real quick, and we'll work through the mechanics of it. Thank you for the follow, ACS Pichu. Appreciate you. And to all of the others who have followed since. I've been hearing all the little woomy noises, but I haven't been watching the screen. Okay. So, I don't know, this is definitely not the fastest rain farm weapon, but here we are. Okay. So, what I'm going to do here, just to test the speed of it, is I am going to pop the rain, and I'm going to mash the R button the entire time that I'm popping it, and we'll see how fast it actually goes out, see if there's any delay there. So. Alright, I was mashing it the entire time. And there was a little bit of a throw animation.
Okay.
So...
I can't see anything. It's buffering for me.
Oh, okay. Oh, shoot. I was under the impression that the projector was going to be showing... No, it should be showing... What? Hold on. I might be streaming the wrong thing here. What the heck? That's so bizarre. I'm very confused. I've got it set so that it should be showing OBS on the projector. But OBS is showing the game, and in Discord it's showing the buffering window. Which, by the way, why is that still buffering? That's kind of weird. Very strange. So sorry about that.
That's
but
cool.
It'll be on stream at least, so you can see like a little bit
Yeah.
of how long that's supposed to take. So it's not immediate. It is fairly quick. Let me take a look back into the VOD now and see how quickly it came out for you.
I have a feeling I try to throw it before it's ready to be thrown. Like right there, I was trying to throw it. Like while I was facing that direction.
Yeah, that is interesting. It does look like you should have enough time. What might happen here? Let me. I'm gonna get special again, and hopefully this time it'll actually switch over. Are you seeing my game now?
No, I'm just seeing my video.
This is really annoying. Because I honestly, it doesn't make any sense that it should be showing that.
I mean, I can always watch when I rewatch later.
Okay. Anyway, so what I want to see now, because I don't play rain weapons very much. I do play this Tri-Slosher, but it's a relatively new choice, so I don't know all of the mechanics super finely tuned yet. What I want to see now is if I try to throw it, but then go down in the ink, if that cancels the animation. Yeah, okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm pressing R and holding it, but then I'm pressing ZL. And that's actually stopping me from throwing it. It looks like you go down into your ink while you're holding it here. And while you're in that state, it will not throw. So right there, you start to throw it, and then you drop down. And when you press the R button, it's not going to throw as long as you're holding ZL.
Okay. Well, that solves the mystery then. It gets frustrating sometimes when I'm like, why isn't it throwing?
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Let me double check and make sure that I'm in the right scene at this point. No, I'm not. So we're gonna jump back to there. Okay. That's full screen. We're good to go. All right. So I like that you're now like moving up with your Rainmaker carrier here, and what I want for you to try and do, if you can, if it's safe, is to get into the street from the left-hand side. And I'll draw it on the map planner here. What you kind of want to do here is before you expose yourself around this corner, because for all you know, there's someone sitting right here ready to like right side peek and shark you. You kind of want to like get up in this kind of direction and throw a line, and then move over and throw another line, and move over and throw another line, and kind of cover all of those angles as you move around the corner to make sure that you're safe from getting sharked around cover, but you're gradually taking more and more control over this corridor until you have everything that you could possibly want. At this point in time, the only thing you have to worry about is someone being here or someone being here and coming up over the wall at you. So you don't want to keep your back to this wall for too long because of that, but if you're able to kind of control this area with blobs, that's going to make it hugely more possible for your teammates to rush up and take control there. And you do take that kind of idea, instead of using distance to come around the corner, you use a wall to get around the corner, and that's perfectly valid. You do have to be a little bit careful about your teammates who might want to push through this wall because they could get bombed off it. So always be aware that, like, every wall you're putting out, it's not just safety, it's also a potential threat to anyone who's in front of it. But then somebody appears from behind you, and you run them down. This is... So you're up against the Dapple Doolies. While I understand that you're trying to get away from the players that might have your back at this point, and so that's why you push back into mid, you also have to be careful because this is a weapon that wants to get close to you, and you are moving directly toward it. So maybe what you could do instead as a potential idea, maybe knowing that they're right here, you paint this wall and you like fire one shot at this wall, and that'll bank shot off and keep you safe from what's directly in front of you. And then if they're rushing you, you focus on them right away so that you can hit them before they're in range. If they're not rushing you, maybe you get up onto plat instead and try and use that to force them to get closer to you before they can hit you. Right here, those shots could have killed you, should have killed you if they'd aimed well. But you're able to back up enough that you're out of range, which is really good, and then your teammates just pop the Rainmaker and get rid of them, so that works out. Unfortunately, your teammate goes down to that. At this point, you're the only one who's left in this situation. Like, you only had... It was a 2v2 right here, and now the one teammate who was with you goes down. So, like, yes, maybe you've got a jump coming in, but right now it's just you. So what you want to be doing instead of, like, staying right here on the left, where you really don't have an escape route, like... We pop this open. If you're here, you can kind of run back this way, but not if someone's pushing you from here. And you can kind of run back this way, but this is really exposed, and if someone's coming from here, you're in trouble. So as soon as people take two different angles on you, you really don't have a safe way to get out of that. Now, what I would be doing in this position... and I'm not the Bloblobber main, so maybe there's something more optimal I could be doing. But if I were right here and I've got this like longer ranged weapon, what I'm thinking to do is to try and give myself as much open space between me and anyone who could approach me. So I want to back up this direction, because if I back up this direction, I still have an escape route here. And if I'm still getting pushed, I still have an escape route here. I still have ways out. If I get backed up to over here, I have to turn around, fire a full shot, swim, jump, and get on the back of this wall. That's a lot slower than being able to just fire one shot and roll with it, and then I can stop whenever and return fire in this direction if I need to. You know, it's a lot more versatile a way out. And as I'm moving backwards like this, I'm continuing to give myself a good position to fight from. Right here, I could just get rushed down by a frontliner who runs this way, because if they get over this ledge quickly, now they're on top of me before I can get my blobs over the ledge. And yes, I control this lane pretty well still, but if like the ballpoint gets up here and cuts off my escape, now I'm trapped. If somebody starts flanking around from this way and I have to deal with both this direction and this direction, I'm stuck. You want to be putting yourself in a place where anytime someone pushes you, they're all going to be in a pretty narrow cone in front of you. So if you're in this position, all you got to worry about is basically right here, which you can watch just with your camera. And if you're in this position, all you have to worry about is about what's right here, which is all right in front of you. You don't have to worry about what's from here and also over here at the same time.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to be a Bloblobber player, you got to be a geometry major. It's just the way the world works. Okay. So you've got a player who's in there with you now, and you do end up being able to stay. But, like, look at what happens here. Rain gets thrown in this direction, you're completely walled off from mid.
Yeah.
And if this Rainmaker were to have, like, one other player with it, it could just run into your street and get past you. Just completely slip by. Whereas if you're in mid, if it goes to cut, you can cover that by rotating towards cut. If it tries to go to street, you can cover that by rotating to the right towards street. But here you're committing really hard to one side, and so they're able to just kind of slip by. And, like, this is a panic moment because you cannot do anything to stop the forward progress of the Rainmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And you try to, and you get picked off by someone who's looking at the blobs and knows that you're going to want to move that way soon. Now, why they stay in that particular position is beyond me. They probably could have gone with the Rainmaker and helped it push further than lead, but... All right. So those two shots right there are not going to paint anything new. So you want to be repositioning at this point because you're not going to get any new special from that. You're not going to get any new information from that. You're giving them information about where you are. And you're not being able to see anything more that you could see from a different angle. So maybe you try to join your team on right plat here. Maybe you try to get up on bunker and clear that out. Maybe you go over cut or something, but you don't want to just sit in the corner for too long. Even this kind of a move a little bit further forward, at least it gives you a little bit something more to paint. At least it's zoning these players away from the Rainmaker shield. And you could probably push even further right now. You do have a wall out there. You can hit the ball point if you drop down a little bit closer to them. So you can force them to, like, waste some of their charge by running away or by shooting at your wall instead of shooting at the shield. You can give your team, like, a lot of space around the Rainmaker to work with, and then you can kind of start figuring out where the enemy team is from there. So somebody's come up over the top here. Oh, and you go for the inkjet blob cancel. That is a thing that can be done. Does take some practice.
Yeah, I've done it several times before.
It's definitely not something that, like, I would want to have to do. I would probably be looking for cover just to try and play it safe. But if you feel really confident that those are shots you can definitely hit, then definitely go for it. Just as the inkjet player, if I see a blob or two miss, now I know that this is a really easy direct. But they end up getting shredded, which is good. Something to think about with the position that you're at right now is that you don't have a really good angle to hit this from.
Yeah.
You either target this guy perfectly, or you really have nothing you can do to them. You can't even really paint the upper left corner over here where they're going to hide if you start shooting at them, just because of the awkward angle that you're at. So this, again, would be a situation where I'd consider maybe I want to get up on the wall here if they don't see me. Maybe I want to get away from them over to the right, or maybe I just need to back up. So we do end up trading with them. I think... Okay, so they end up sharking around the corner, waiting for you to get closer, and then coming around once you're in range and getting you. There are ways that you could get around that. One of them is bank shots.
Yeah.
So what you could do is, knowing, okay, they can't be here anymore, you might fire a shot at this back wall and have it rebound and hit anything that's over here. That's one idea. Using the sponge for cover, like maybe you put yourself out there but then really quickly duck behind the sponge if someone shows up. That's an idea. But that's a really common thing that really short-ranged weapons are going to do, ambush weapons. They're going to... run around a corner to make you think they're running away, and then you advance to try and chase them, and that has unwittingly put you into their range. Okay, so in that situation, you do about the best that you can here. Let's see where we go here. One thing that I will say is that being in this corner is not nearly as good for you as having the open sight line that you could just looking over the right-hand side here.
Yeah.
Being in this corner, where can you throw blobs? You can throw them behind you, to the left of you, and on the diagonal in between. But from this position, you can hit basically nothing of what the opponents are doing. So you have to get up on the wall in order to do that. But up on the wall, you don't have paint at your feet, and if they come up over the top of the wall, you won't be able to see them very well. Whereas, alternatively, what you could do here is just stand right here. Then you can see anybody who's trying to approach this wall. You can see anybody who's trying to come over the right-hand side, and you see them before they're in range of you. So I think that would be a more powerful position. And if the Rainmaker starts to threaten you or the ballpoint's in position, you can just back up a little bit and you're below this ledge. And then you can start moving backwards as you need to and just keep putting blobs on this angle so that they can't come across onto this ramp.
Okay.
At this point, though, totally the right call to suicide for the Rainmaker trade. Because there's someone on the left who's not going to let you leave. If you were to try and back up and preserve your life, you'd get picked anyway. And this way, you at least picked the Rainmaker and got splatted. Now that your team is still in a lot, team is still in a lot of trouble because you're in a 3v1 situation. It looks like your teammate is interested in staggering in against the Dapple Doolies, and they do go down, as I would have predicted from a slosher trying to climb up over a ledge against a weapon that splats as fast as this does at such short range. So now your teammates here are the first up, and the only thing that they're going to be able to do is like throw bombs and paint the feet of the Rainmaker and try and stop the bleeding as best they can. Now from here, once the Rainmaker's down, the first place everyone's going to think to try and go is underneath this ledge because it gets them away from the blobs, and it's also a really good flank option. So one way you could contest this once you see that this player is here is by maybe moving backwards a little bit, but by like right side peeking around the ledge here. Do you know what I mean by that?
I remember I saw it in one of your streams, but at the time of this video, I didn't know I could do that.
Gotcha. So for the sake of clarity, for others who may not know what this is, so as I've shown a number of times before, players hold their weapons on the right side of their bodies with few exceptions. So from here, I can get blobs around the wall. From here, I cannot, because I'm hitting the wall, and they come out more from the right-hand side. So the idea that I'm explaining is to use that over the ledge like this. So like from here, I can get blobs like straight down over the ledge and be not as exposed. So this kind of position, oops, I'm getting pushed by the railing. This kind of position would help you clear out that little corridor a little bit better than trying to be right here. And look at how far those blobs go out before they actually start hitting anything for damage. Like, I probably can't even hit that first target. Yeah, I don't think it's possible to hit that first target until it goes out a little bit further. But from here, I can hit in front of that first target. So that's probably the angle that you're looking for here. And obviously, this is kind of a panic situation. You're like, oh crap, there are people in our base, and things have just gone badly, and we've just lost the lead. So it's easy to, not immediately snap into the thought of like where you should be positioning. But like from right here, the most you're going to be able to do is attack the Rainmaker shield. And that is a really valuable thing to be doing because this will take away a lot of their paint. It might get a pick on someone. So definitely go for that right now. I like the idea here. You're hitting the wall a little bit. But what you could be doing is instead of jumping down, just move a little bit to the left. And you can probably, if not get it up over the ledge here, you can at least prevent them from taking the ramp right here. Because them getting onto this ramp easily is what's going to allow them to run and pick up this Rainmaker. They're going to be able to control the paint that's directly in front of them here without you being able to do as much. But if you stop them from getting into this area, you're still stopping them. So if you just walk a little bit to the left and then paint this up, you're going to be able to stop them just as effectively and without putting yourself down below them where you can't see what's coming at you. Also, from this position, because you're up against the right side wall, your rain isn't able to go to a little bit to the right where they are. It's forced to like push straight in front of you.
Yeah.
So this is, I guess maybe you were intending to cover elbow a little bit because someone did actually sneak through there. But okay. So now we're trying to push up to get up with the Rainmaker, which is good. Rainmaker got a little bit ahead of itself. How is there a Bloblobber behind you right now? What the heck?
Yeah, that kind of caught me by surprise.
Huh. I guess what my guess is that they were already on the right-hand side, realized that they were out of play, and rotated really slowly, so they ended up behind you. This isn't something that I would expect to see an awful lot of the time. Because, like, the ballpoint basically is making a hero play here by stopping the Rainmaker. If they don't stop the Rainmaker, the team is actually in some trouble. So this isn't great positioning on the Bloblobber's part, but it just so happens that it gives them a good angle to come up behind you. Yeah, this so this position right here, where you fire these shots from, this is what I'm talking about potentially taking.
Yeah.
Once you hit them that many times, definitely reposition. The second shots, like I understand you're firing the second shot because you're not sure if the first one's going to splat. But by the second shot, you want to be recognizing, okay, they've gone down. I don't need to be firing the weapon anymore. Because the fact that you fire the weapon a third time here is what gets you picked. You could have just immediately submerged and run into this corner behind you and been safe from the Rainmaker shot. But because you stand still for too long, it's able to land and get you. Okay, we do need to be popping the Rainmaker shield, to be fair, but yeah, okay. What I would probably have thought to do there was try and camp the jumps and hope that my teammate can get to the Rainmaker shield, just because I'm not going to get there in time, so they're the only hope, and if they end up shooting at these people, that's going to waste some time that they're going to spend trying to get to the Rainmaker shield instead. I don't know. It's not a great situation to be in the first place. The real mistake came from the push where they get to 53 here on the right-hand side. And that push happens because of the earlier play where we're out in mid. And right here, this is really what leads to that whole thing happening. They get it out onto the right-hand side, and they get it past the defense. If we're in the way of that the entire time, they don't get this close. And they don't end up being able to set up over here and stage a push in the rest of the way. Because they stop your push pretty abruptly right here. So that I would say is like the biggest defensive mistake that happened. And then on offense, like we were talking about, look at where your teammates are positioned and play in such a way that your blobs are supporting them. That's I think, a really good guideline for where is it safe for me to stand and like how can I be having an impact. Because you don't have to be anywhere near as far up as your opponents are, or as your teammates are, to be able to put blobs in range to help them. So you kind of like work in tandem with your frontliners, and wherever they go, they've got, you know, blob support, cutting off opponents' escape routes, putting paint down for them to swim through, pressuring opponents away from positions where they can attack them. Any of those sorts of things will make it so that you're having more of an impact than you were sitting behind a wall of bunker. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I mean, that was a lot of stuff that like didn't really go through my mind at the time of the match, that, you know, I have to consciously try to make sure I think about more.
Yeah, it takes a while. It takes a lot of like reflection and a lot of playing thoughtfully, playing mindfully to change habits like that. And like, I don't expect that this is going to change in the very next game that you play. But it'll now that you're thinking about it, you'll start catching yourself like, oh, hey, that was a position where I could have moved forward and didn't. And once you start seeing that, then next time maybe you'll see it a little faster. And then the next time you'll see it's fast enough that, oh, wait, I should be moving up now, and you don't miss your opportunity. So it's a gradual process, but these are some goals for you to be working towards in the next month or two, and that should help you out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you for giving us footage to go over, Soli. Really appreciate all of the support that you've given to the channel. It has definitely not just been giving us a VOD to VOD review. You were also, for those who don't know, Soli was instrumental in the translation of the Splat World Championships maps that got put out on our Twitter a while back. Soli has just been trying to help out as much as he possibly can. So easiest decision ever to offer him a VOD review, So thank you so much for being here. And now we are going to move on to DomLikesPie.
All right, I'll hop out.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks.
All right. So we had a little bit of a switch around in the scheduling. And so I haven't actually seen this match yet. I was told to... This is a little on the loud side.
So, what's your plan?
I was told just to watch the first match, and so that is this one. It sounds like they do have some call-outs that they're making, so we'll be listening in on those. As with, anything where there's call-outs, I do apologize if there happens to be inappropriate language. Like, I haven't been able to screen it myself to be able to check for it. And it's not something that I mind overly much on the channel. But obviously, some people it will bother more than others. So.
Yo, that's crazy. I like that. I can do that.
Ew. Don't get stunned.
All right. So we've got a largely midline focused comp. This is, I think this is a comp that can work pretty functionally. So the idea that I'm seeing with this comp is that we're very passive and we paint a lot. We wait for the junior to have armor because we've got a blob, we've got a mini. Both of those, they can slay, but they want to set up to do it pretty slowly. The mini needs to get charge and it needs to paint a little bit for itself. The blob is, of course, not, like we talked about, not going to move forward super quickly. The 52, it is more aggressive. It is the fastest, most aggressive weapon on the comp. But it does have wall and benefits from moving up bit by bit. So I think it synergizes pretty well with what the rest of these guys are going to do. So my thought process here is junior farms armor as quickly as humanly possible. And then with the armor, that's going to enable this comp that is normally going to just be playing really passive, trying to play to paint and get specials. It's going to enable them to actually have the pushing power to start moving forward and take some space once that's all said and done. So we've also got the blob to be able to stall out zone. Mini paints a lot, junior paints a lot, 52 paints a pretty good amount. So I definitely don't hate the comp. The E-Leader is going to be a concern for everybody here. There is no backline weapon that's going to come anywhere near challenging its range. If you're going to get the E-Leader, it's going to be by sharking and taking angles that, like, out on the ground in front of it that it's not going to see, waiting for it to give away its laser, or just splatting all of its teammates and then being able to rush it so that it doesn't have the fire rate to deal with as many players as are attacking it. But what I do like also about this comp is that you outrange the K-Shot and the Neo Splash. So if you set up a good defensive perimeter, you're going to make it very difficult for those two weapons to push in on you.
Yeah. Thank you, Lameltricious.
The,
Don't get
so,
stunned, brother.
right here, this jump is going to make you move slower. Because you move slower while you're airborne. And you had, I think, some paint in front of you already from these blobs. Yeah. So, like, if you don't have paint in front of you from these blobs, then yes, it's faster to jump, because the movement options are between you jumping and you walking over the ground. And walking over the ground is slower than jumping forward out of a swimming jump. But you have paint that you can just be swimming through. So instead of jumping from this point, you can just swim and get further forward before you lob your next blobs.
Yeah. Thank you, Lameltrus.
Or don't get 96.
Please don't. I can pay for you once you get straight away. Please don't. I can pay for you once you get.
So I guess you are already painting over here. Throwing blobs out around a blind corner like this, I talked about this with Soli. Consider whether you want to do that or not, because you don't know whether there are opponents in mid, but if you put blobs out there, they will know that you're looking in this direction, and they'll be able to move around and maybe get in an ambush position or something. You are kind of giving yourselves away by coming out on the left-hand side and painting over the top before you've dropped down. So let's see what ends up actually happening.
Into the flame.
Yeah, like, even once you turn the corner, you have no idea how much orange paint there's going to be. For all you know, there's someone sharking right here. So I would at least map check before I try to peek out like this.
There's 3 on site. Unknown.
Okay. Looking at how the other team rolls out, you fire some blobs into the left closed here. If there were someone here, they would have been out already. They would have made it this far. So I look at this being unpainted and I go, okay, there's probably nobody here unless it's like the E-leader at the very top of the ramp. And I can see there's at least 2 or 3 players in mid, especially since one of my teammates went down. I want to be taking my attention onto mid. Mid is where the action is. Mid is where my blobs can be most disruptive to the enemy team. And mid is also where the zone happens to be. So this is where I want to be trying to control. I would probably be looking around this right block and trying to right side peek in this direction to cut off an angle from people who are trying to get you out of this side of the map, especially since you're 1 player down. They're likely to rush forward as a result of having that pick. And so if you anticipate that and you catch someone rushing you a little too recklessly, you might be able to get a pick back for it.
There's 3
might be able to trade back.
sites.
But right now, like, we're not looking at anywhere where there's a fight for these couple of seconds. And we're kind of giving the other team time to figure out where we are.
Yeah, so...
Got 1.
Do end up getting a pick.
Yeah.
It looks like, okay, it looks like you're getting this on the leader because they're on the opposite side of the map looking... Oh, no, that was the 96. Never mind. They're on the opposite side of the map looking in this direction, I guess. Those are, frankly, kind of lucky shots. I don't even know if I saw you aiming at them in particular. I guess you see a little bit of a glow over there. So maybe you do. But I wouldn't necessarily count on getting this pick on a resisting opponent. It's probably more important for you to be focusing on mid earlier.
Leaders on me.
2 down. They're down 2. They're down.
So...
Got 1.
Leaders on me.
2 down.
As soon as you see missiles on your teammate, you want to be being very aware of where they're going to go. So you see missiles right here on your teammate. You want to be moving away from your teammate. You don't want to put yourself anywhere near where these are going to fall. 2 reasons for that. Number 1, obviously, you don't want to get hit by the missiles. That's the most obvious one. But number 2, your teammate doesn't want to drag the missiles to you. If you move toward your teammate now has fewer options for where they can go to get the missiles to disperse. So I'm going to go onto the map planner to illustrate my point a little bit here. Walleye warehouse, and this is zones. Not that that changes anything. Okay. So your teammate is here. You are here. The enemy team has control of mid. So your teammate pushing out in this direction to avoid the missiles is not very realistic. If your teammate has missiles on them, right now, if they don't want to run them into you, they have to go back in this direction. And a smart opponent might put a bomb in this direction and get a free pick. But if you move... Oh my goodness. Oh my good golly gosh darn. Okay. If you move from here to here, we're going to make that not that big anymore. Oh my god. We're just going to get rid of it. All right, if you move and you're now over here instead, now your teammate has the option to go this way or this way to avoid the missiles. And so one bomb being thrown right here by an enemy player isn't going to be a problem because they can still just double back in this direction and let the missiles land here instead. So try to keep yourself away from your teammates when they have missiles, not just for your safety, but for their own.
On me. They're down two.
So it shreds your armor. You have armor, so it's not going to splat you or anything. And you're able to get in there and throw rain. At this point, 2 of them are down because you took out the 96, and somebody managed to get the splash in that time. So at this point in time, we are going to be able to start taking map control back in the middle. So the way that I would do that is one of 2 ways. I would either try to back up over here.
On me. They're down two.
I would either try to take this corridor right here so that you can prevent anybody from coming in from ramp and be shielded from anybody on right by the mid here. This also gives you decent line of sight on the back side of the zone, so you can help paint that. Or I would be trying to get to the right-hand side and right side peeking around this wall.
Down two, ulting sight. Get sight control.
So we do end up going in this direction, but remember, we've just fired a whole bunch of blobs out in front of us in an arc like this.
They're down two. They're down two. Ulting sight.
You fire those. These blobs right here, they're not painting an awful lot, and they are going to alert the enemy team that you're here. I would probably, instead of doing that, if I'm going to paint anything, I want to paint what's right in front of me, because that's actually in the way. But I would want to rotate over to the side and, like, right side peek around here, because it looks like my teammate is in a fight with someone. And if I get around the corner, I have some cover, and I'm able to, you know, determine, oh, there's a charger lining up a shot at me, back away. But right now, you're out in the open. If that charger sees where you're at based on where the blobs are, they clearly saw that there were blobs here and were aiming for you. If they'd seen you a little better, you'd be out in the open and you wouldn't have any cover. Whereas if you were over here, you just back up like an inch to the left and they're not going to be able to hit you. So your teammate is able to dive in on the charger and get them anyway, so it all works out in the end.
There's one there spawn.
Yep.
Coming on.
We don't have that painted, so we're going to need to paint that before we get there.
Yeah,
I do like that you see that there's someone trying to come this way and you deny that of them.
Missile 3.
This is a really useful thing for you to do because this holds down this left-hand side as a place that your team can control. As long as your team has control of some part of mid, the left side, the right side, whatever, you're still in the game on this map. And you making yourself very difficult to contest on the left is really conducive to that happening, even in a situation where you're maybe a player down. Now, you are a player down right now, and they just popped armor. And whenever the enemy team pops armor, that's something where everybody should immediately have the reaction, am I safe? Do I have an escape route? I'm about to get rushed. What do I do? You want to be able to eat their pressure. You want to be able to fend them off. You don't want to hard engage on them. You don't want to allow them close enough that they can get in range. You want to just like put out a whole bunch of blobs that will peel off armor from them, take away the advantage that they've got without surrendering splats, without getting picked. So what happens here instead?
One main. Yep, two main.
Nice. That is exactly what I want you doing. They probably could have rushed a little bit faster, but as soon as you saw, hey, they're trying to move into mid, you harassed them with the blobs, you peeled armor off of 1 or 2 of them, and they backed up and didn't get any use whatsoever out of the armor. That's exactly what I was just talking about wanting you to do. They're going to bomb rush it. The bomb rush is not going to have an impact because you've got control of the map. They aren't able to move forward enough to be able to paint enough to out-contest you guys on the zones. Now, unfortunately, one of your players on the right gets picked, and so now you're staggered a little bit because the junior is still coming back, so right now it's effectively a 2v4 on the map. And you need to be careful about the sniper. Is there some way we could have positioned better around that? Again, right side peeking would be to your benefit here. You didn't get punished for it on the right side of the map earlier, where I said I wanted you doing that around this wall here, but you do get punished for it here. Jumping around in the open where you have no cover is the most vulnerable position that you can put yourself in while firing these shots. The jumping is going to make it so that you touch the ground slower after each jump. Like being in the ink is your fastest movement option. So you want to have access to that as soon as possible. And jumping takes you away from it for too long, and a charger is going to be able to hit you anyway. Also, you don't have any cover to retreat to. Retreating to it requires you to both land and then swim a significant distance away. Whereas if you were right side peeking around this wall here, as soon as the charger starts like charging their laser up, you can wait until that shot gets fired, not really contest their angle, but then as soon as that shot gets fired, and you know that they have a good like 1.5 seconds before they'll have another lethal shot ready, then you can peek back around the corner, fire another couple of blobs.
The box, they have sight control. Back off, but down 2.
96 got me, 96 on
Halo, back out.
There's
Yep.
one right.
All right, good jump out from your teammate, because they can just rush that and clear that out.
I love you.
And now you find yourselves in the unfortunate circumstance of being about to get locked out on Walleye Warehouse. This map sucks, because... Let's take a look back at the map for a second. Up. There. How do you get back in? Dropping down here is a death trap. You drop down here, there's going to be someone sharking under this ledge, or there's someone going to be sharking behind this box here. There's going to be a charger watching you from top mid. There's really no positional advantage you can win yourself coming in the middle of the map here. It's also just way too skinny, so one player can look at both angles. There's no way to like take an off angle on someone coming through the mid if they see you in time. You know, even if you're trying to take a 2v1 on someone from mid, this player can just retreat over to the right-hand side, and now this player is going to get to them before this player does. So it's just a really, really bad position to try and push in from. You basically never want to go out this way unless you already have like everything in front of you completely under control. So that leaves 2 options. That leaves this option, which is a massive choke point, which an E-leader can easily shoot at. And it leaves this direction right here, which isn't bad. You can drop behind the wall and completely have cover from them. But you have to paint this really meticulously. You have to watch out for sharks. Dropping down over a ledge is always going to put you at a disadvantage, and that's what you have to do to get down here. So what the other team should do is put maybe one person here, maybe one person here, and then maybe like 2 right here. And if they do that, on your way out, you're going to meet a lot of resistance, and it's going to be really hard to push back in. The lockout on this map is just way too strong, and that's why this map is pretty much never going to be played in tournament.
Thank you, Tristan, for stopping by. Love you.
It's in the right alley.
But left-hand side is where most of your players should probably be looking to drop, especially the frontline weapons, because that is a place where they actually will benefit from a lot of cover. Whereas in mid, they have to push out across a whole bunch of open space that a long-range weapon can deny them.
Yep.
Yeah, I see.
We can find multis and push in.
Down right side.
Yep. One.
So someone has gone down, and that's primarily because we tried to push through the middle. Again, the middle just puts us out of the open, does not give us any positional advantages.
E-leader main. E-leader has sights on main, so we have to go flank.
So that was the big issue there. We do get 1, and so we pop armor to try and give us this advantage in the 3v3. Again, you've got an E-leader looking at you. There's literally nothing you can do against this E-leader except maybe put a wall out and try and swim behind cover somewhere.
Hey, Cal, can you go right side and pick him if you have
So you're just kind of stuck in a holding pattern here. Like, you can paint all of this as much as you want. It doesn't change the fact that the E-leader owns it.
I missiled the guy.
So you're relying on teammates
sight now.
to be able to push in. The E-leader should have shot you already, but they're going to shoot you now. It actually wasn't even the E-leader that needed to do that.
I missiled the guy you're going after, Nathan.
So again, what I would recommend is putting more people out on the left. Left gives you more of an ability to fight your way out. You're putting one player out on right, one player out in mid, one player on left. So you guys are unable to help each other, and you're kind of split up. They can deal with you guys all one at a time. And so this guy on the right goes down, and then you go down because they're able to pinch you in mid.
Leader got me.
And somebody on the left, or somebody coming through the middle gets you.
Nice yellow.
And now your teammate,
One on me.
one on me. Yeah, the entire team is on them. They rarely get one, which is good.
Base spot is on your right side, our right side area, over here. And then we can ult in.
Yeah, alright.
With your teammate being up this far, and with the time being this low, you're in a position where if that teammate goes down, you lose the game, basically. Because your team is going to stagger in, and you're not actually going to have enough paint to get on the zone and keep it. So right now, I would not have liked them to push up this far to begin with. But since they're already there and they're booyah bombing, this is a time to kind of rush forward and get to them so that you can group back up, rally together, and try to win some fights. The right-hand side right now, like, yeah, it's there.
Yep,
It didn't cap the zone for you. Now, fortunately, you guys were able to cap the zone without the help of the blob here, but
nice. One still right side.
I don't think you're going to be very impactful in that position from going that way. You kind of just want to get to your teammates and be able to put blobs on them to support them. Now, you've got someone behind you on the right, and I want to see that called out.
Leader's there spawn.
Got him.
Nice.
Whew. Okay, that was a really good shot, but that could have been a lot worse.
Got him.
E-leaders.
How did they get there in the first place? What happened? Okay, so it looks like they were sharking out on the right-hand side here. Whenever you come out through closed, and this is another reason why, you know, I don't like you coming out closed in this particular case. Whenever you come out closed, you always need to be looking on the right-hand side. So you always need to be looking to see what's over here. That's a bad drawing. As you come out, your sight line is like here, and then here, and then here. That sort of thing, to make sure that nobody's just like sharking right here. Because this isn't a hard wall right here. This is something that can be shot through. If I'm just sitting here as like a splatter shot, I can like hit you through the corner on your way down at a certain point there. Let me back up and point it out. It's these railings that are right in front of us. You can shoot through those at an angle. So if I'm sharking like right here, and I shoot through the angle at you, while you're looking over here at zone, that's a really advantageous position, and that is in fact what ends up getting you here.
Yep, nice. One still right side.
Now they don't hit you,
Leader's there.
and so fortunately you're able to actually kite back and deal with them. But this is more a matter of them missing shots than it is a matter of you guys counterplaying it as effectively as possible.
E-leaders spawn. Yep.
Leader's right next to.
I can spam E-leader.
So
spawn. Yep.
E-leader's up here, of course. It looks like somebody drops down here. I would, if they dropped all the way down, if they're at ground level with you, you want to put some bank shots in, back wall to the box, to the back wall to the box, that kind of thing, to flush this guy out. Because Halo on this side and you on this side, that guy shouldn't get out alive if they're in there. And I can't tell whether they're in there. That's something that maybe hopefully your teammate would tell you on comms. But you're tunneling on the E-leader, and your weapon is just not going to be able to have a lot of an impact on their position right now. It's too challenging for you to hit like up over this box and have the blobs land down where the E-leader is. I don't even know if that's possible with the range you've got.
I think leader's there too.
Yep.
Seems like that'd be too far.
Jumping in, Nathan. They're
on site.
All right, so you know that E-leader is coming out the left, and so you're playing safe around that.
I got.
I got.
Being up on this box, I don't know that it gives you very many advantages. Like, think, what can you hit from on top of this box that you couldn't hit from maybe behind this box? Like, I guess it gives you the ability to hit both this angle and over here, but you're not that far away from being able to get up on top of the box and slosh in this direction if you need to. And especially, I'm worried about someone coming through mid right now, because the E-leader peeked out this way and then opted to go someplace else. So, and you've also got this all painted up. So it's going to take someone a long time to come out this way if they want to. And it's also not where they've come out before. Like the last time they pushed in, they really didn't pay a lot of attention to closed here, which I think is smart of them. So you can turn more of your attention to mid, and if you're turning more of your attention to mid, you want to be right side peeking the box instead.
I got this guy, I think. Nope. Okay.
So with missiles, if you're in a relatively safe position, what you want to be doing is making sure that they displace you for as little time as possible. And the way that you make that happen is you actually push forward slightly when the missiles first lock onto you to get them to fall further in front of you than you actually want to be. Then when you've pushed forward and the missiles have actually targeted you and you are about to land, that's when you back up. And now you're back in the position that you were already, and you don't have to move at all to get back into where you wanted to be. But the way that you handle them now, look at how far they pushed you back. You didn't have to move even from behind this box. You could have pushed the slightest bit out past the box, let them fall out there past the box, and then immediately been in cover behind the box after that.
We're down 2.
Oh, wow.
But now, because of
picked
the way that they pushed you around, it's taking you a good 4 or 5 seconds to get back into that place. Now, fortunately,
Missile, don't jump.
you end up accidentally
We're down 2.
splatting someone. I'm assuming that was accidental, because the entire time that you have the missiles on you here,
I got this guy.
you have your camera completely turned away. I have no idea what the enemy team is doing except from what I hear from callouts.
They missiled, don't jump. We're
Yeah,
down.
nobody gets called out there. I think you just get this by intending to paint and them having the misfortune of pushing around into your blobs. So, you know, if you'd known that that was happening, different story. But as it was, with the information that we had, you were just trying to avoid missiles and making that play to push forward a little bit and then back up, or maybe push over here a little bit and then right back up to cover, instead of leading yourself all the way into this corner here. That gives you more space to work
Down
with.
two.
Wow.
I picked 1, I
They're
traded.
down 2 too. They're also down 2.
That, again, was a shot that the E-Leader probably could have hit. You're putting yourself out from behind cover
Okay.
against
We can
weapons
fight
that
this, we can
outrange
fight
you,
this. They're low.
which you need to be really careful about doing.
Just fight it. E-Leader's left side still, on the ramp. 1 jump to E-Leader.
Height.
Fight this, we can fight this. They're low.
So
Low.
you're doing a lot of like jumping around and moving back and forth, which, if they were on top of you, this is going to make it a little bit harder to hit you. But the problem is that because you're moving back and forth from one position to another so quickly, you're keeping yourself out of a position where you actually have shots on anybody. If you were just continuously peeking around the right-hand side here, I wouldn't like go directly around the corner. But if you like come out from this side and then slowly edge your way forward around the corner, you can paint very thoroughly and prevent them from having this angle around the right-hand side of zone. And that also gives you cover away from the E-Leader who's on the
We can
left.
fight this. They're low.
Like, you haven't even gotten hit, I don't think, by this player.
Okay. We can fight this. They're low.
You get hit maybe once, like, a while ago, but I think most of the damage is from enemy ink. Like, until they're really hitting their shots, like, you can stay a little closer to this edge and see if you can get the picks. But you decide to abandon the fight a little bit on the early side, and now you fire, like, 1 shot on the left, rotate all the way back over to the right, fire 1 shot on the right. Like, you're staying behind the wall for so long that your shots are never actually doing anything for you. What I'd like to see you do in a position like that would be maybe... So, you rotate over to here, because I do think the right side was stronger for you in this position. And then you fire a line of shots here. And then you walk a little further this way and fire a line of shots here. And then here. And just completely take control of this whole side, to the point where now the right side is locked down. And yeah, the E-Leader's over here, and maybe they walk forward and they start to threaten you from across that angle. But for the time being, you can get control of this area and make it take a lot longer for them to move in. If the E-Leader starts aiming at that angle, then maybe you take a cover. And if they fire a shot at you, then you peek out from that angle again. If they don't fire the shot at you and you're still worried about them, maybe you move over to the left, or maybe you back up and look around in this direction so you can see before you get in range or something like that. But what's happening here is we are spending all of our time going back and forth right here. And we get out here and fire 1 line, but then we spend a whole bunch more time getting back in the other direction. And we fire 1 line here. Look at how much less of the map is blue because of this painting pattern. You're able to see less. You're giving frontliners the ability to just come around at an angle to flank you, because you're staying so close to this blind corner and not like peeking around the corner as you move towards the other side of it. You're basically putting yourself out of play by staying too close to a wall, which was something we were talking about earlier.
1 left side. It's, I don't know the gun. K-shots, left side. Nathan, you safe to jump?
K-shots. K-shots too.
All right, so we stagger in pretty badly here.
Nathan, you safe to jump?
So, like, you go down, which is not the end of the world.
1 left side. It's I don't know the
But
gun.
then-
Chase shots left side.
Your teammates are really split. Something that I would take to the team here is, like, we need to get together. We need to be able to help each other out in fights and not get scattered like this. Because this is only a 3v4. You should be able to stall a little bit, but because the enemy team is able to, like, go wherever they want on the map and have a 2v1 available to them, they're picking you off one by one. As soon as one player has gone down, as soon as you go down, it is extremely important for the rest of your team not to go down. Because now you guys are staggered. Now you're in the kind of feed stagger loop. So one player goes down, and then another player goes down like 2 or 3 seconds later. So now, even though you have just respawned, you're going to be at a numbers disadvantage for the next probably 12 seconds. So if they had all stayed alive, that numbers advantage would be over in like 1 or 2 seconds when you get back into the game. But now you've cost yourself another like 10 or 12 seconds. And you're still going in, and I'd be very, very careful about doing this, especially peeking an E-leader like that.
E-leader's on right.
Yep.
This position...
Left side.
E-leader's right side.
If that 96 decides to take this fight, they can push up to about here and hit you from a further angle away. And between them and the E-leader, I think they can just splat you. The fact that they don't keep aggressing this
E-leader's on right.
is surprising to me. I think that they could have won that fight for free by just working with their teammate to keep all the angles covered.
Right side. I can try and go for a flank.
That was really risky of Halo there. Frankly, a stronger Charger player just hits that shot while he's trying to move around.
I'm ulting site first.
All right, I like the idea to get this started with specials. This is perfect. We pop a special to address the zone. We pop armor to get ourselves back in. Now is the time to move forward. But again, we could have been moving forward a lot faster if we hadn't staggered. We probably could have been moving around the 150s somewhere. And that does make a difference because, look, the enemy team is scoring now. If we are able to recover from the stagger faster, we're able to make that push and stop them scoring sooner. Now, unfortunately, what happens here is, again, we get a little bit split. We've got one person going in on the left. We've got one person going in the mid. We've got you coming down the right. You do not need to control every single part of mid in order to get control of the zone back. So what's happening is you've got someone coming out here, you've got someone coming out here, you've got someone coming out here. Well, if the enemy team, you know, let's say they've got someone like hereabouts and maybe here, I don't know, something like this. All they have to do to win these fights is pick one of you and say, attack that person. Now, this person comes from this direction, this person comes from this direction, and these guys are out of play long enough that you can't stop that from happening. If instead what you guys do is send like 2 people out this way and maybe 1 person out this way, now these guys can all help each other. And so even if the enemy team decides, oh, we're going to put 2 members over here, you still have an advantage in that fight. These 2v1 this guy while this person's stalling this player out. And now you have a favorable fight. You're losing these fights in the large majority of the time because you are isolating yourselves too much. You're doing stuff like this where we're so far across the map that nobody can help anybody, and every fight that we're taking is going to be at numbers disadvantage.
I have E-leader stalled. E-leader down.
Yep, E-leader down, and now we really need to be able to get the zone capped. This is an absolute hero play.
I have E-leader stalled.
I love that you use the bank shot there to get shots on them before you come around the corner. That's really well played.
Nice.
And now, I don't know if these are lucky blobs or what. I feel like with the E-leader here, they should be calling you out immediately, and this player on the right should know that you're coming and be looking at these blobs.
Nice.
Got 2.
So I'm surprised that this just catches them like that.
2 on right.
The 2 on right are probably going to catch you.
One of them's half HP.
Yeah.
We'll have to see if your team is able to get in time.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
So I'd say the biggest thing that's happening there is just all y'all need to be going in the same direction, and that same direction should be this one the majority of the time, or at least with most of your force. If you can sneak out this way and get behind, like, this is a really nasty flank, but as soon as there's like any enemy paint in this direction, you need to be super careful about doing something like this. This is a play that I would do as maybe like a shooter that's going to be going for flanks and trying to like assassinate people from this direction who are more inclined to be looking over here. That's the sort of play that I'm thinking if I'm going right. And the blob is going to be really good for controlling this area right here. But when you're trying to come out, it's not this area that you're worried about. It's this area. This is where enemy players are going to be defending. They're not going to be trying to push into your corridor here if they're smart. They're just going to be stopping you right here because they know you have to go through this very long, narrow corridor, and they could be over here, or over here, or over here, ready to stop you from any of those different angles, and you just have to guess where they are. So this is some place to go if they leave it open, but otherwise your primary play, your first thought is probably to come out on the left-hand side to take control of this area because there's so many places you can drop and be behind cover. You can drop here, you can drop here, work your way to this piece of cover right here or to this block right here and start pushing into mid from that direction. And at that point, maybe you have like the Bloblobber drop down here and cover this angle so that they're able to get in behind the zone. And you start working your way to the middle from there. But going all in different angles is getting you all picked off one by one and giving the enemy team enough of an advantage that they can just hold against all of you guys. So that's the biggest thing I would say. Mechanically speaking, make sure that you are taking advantage of right side peek, especially around angles like this. Cut off enemy routes to you is a good way to think about it. So like if I'm right here and I want to get at someone who's right here, what do I have to go through? I have to go through here. Well, if I as the Bloblobber am only firing in this line, or I'm only firing in this line, this player only has to go through the line here once, and then maybe they have shots on me. Whereas if I'm firing a line here, and then a line here, and then a line here, and then a line here, this whole area gets painted up pretty quickly, and now I, as an aggressing player, need to paint all of this that I want to be able to have access to, and maybe a little bit of this so I have an escape route in order to get at you, and that keeps you a lot safer. So don't just fire one shot at this angle and then run away. If you're going to fire at something, fire here and then back up and then fire here and then move over here and fire here. You know, try and take control of an angle like that. And maybe then if, you know, after a few shots you're like, okay, this isn't working, I need to move, then you head over here. But then you fire a line here and you fire a line here and you fire a line here. And you just make sure that your first priority is, where can someone flank me from? Where can someone run at me from? I need to have that area painted. And then once you have all of that covered, that's going to make it easier for your frontliners to move up. That's going to make it so that you're safe to start taking fights. That's when you really have a good advantage. So try to take more complete control of an area instead of moving back and forth, and stand your ground a little bit more by using cover so that you're not out in the open and you're not easily forced back. Thank you so much to DomLikesPie for submitting that footage for us to look at. They're out of town for this week. They weren't expecting that their VOD review was going to be this week. But we're going to feature them on the league battles for next week to make it up to them. And we'll be able to maybe have them ask any questions that they have at that time after they've had kind of a week to look this over and process it. I think it should work out just fine anyway. So that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to all the new followers and subscribers. I know that there have been a bunch of them that I have not been able to read because I only have a single monitor set up and I have to have that full screen in order to be able to showing you things, be able to be showing you things. But thank you guys so much for all of the support. Appreciate all of you. Something that I wanted to plug right before we go, one of the new links that you will see on my link tree here is a Metafy account. So I do these Tuesday streams for free, but there are only 2 slots, and at this point, the wait time is like a full month or something. And I know that there are going to be some people who are like, okay, well, what's the point of getting coached on this game literally a week before Splatoon 3 comes out? Like, there is definitely still stuff to learn that will carry over into Splatoon 3. But I can understand if people are going to want coaching sooner than they're going to be able to get it from me if they just want to be on this show. And I've had this question for a long time, like, hey, can I hire you to coach me? So I decided to go and actually make an account. And it is going to be paid because the time that I will spend coaching is time that I would otherwise be spending on making content and stuff like that. And it is definitely something that we need to make it worth my time in order for me to be able to do it, just so that I can support myself. But some people have expressed interest in that. And also, I bring this up because there's a system where if you vouch for me, there's an option to go online and do that. And I know you did, Dilly, and I really appreciate that. I think it makes it more likely that I get approved. So I'll put it out there so that y'all can help me out with that a little bit if you would like to. So now is the time for us to go and start a raid. For those of you who are watching on Twitch or on YouTube, if you want to switch over to Twitch for the raid, feel free. Right now, let's go and say hi to Reborn. Reborn is a former teammate of mine, is now playing for the Grillers, which is a former team of mine. So in a very similar position to me, has a fantastic mindset for improvement, and is just a genuinely really good guy. So everybody, let's get our raid message ready. It's going to be... And of course I didn't get the raid message ready. If I... somebody type schools out in the chat for everybody to copy and paste, because if I do this, it's going to cancel the raid message and we're going to have to wait another 15 seconds, and that's annoying for me. There we go. Schools out, everybody. Let's go and copy and paste that, get that as our raid message, and let's go say hi to Reborn. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good evening.